What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. So last night, 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After Season 7, Episode 15 has aired. Now, we checked in with Jovi and Yara, who are still in Europe and having a lot of trouble coming to an agreement and understanding of what Yara is allowed and not allowed to do. So Jovi feels like since they went on this trip as a family, Yara is not allowed to stay in Europe. She needs to go back home and wait in their apartment while he is out working in another country. So a lot of people feel that this is a very controlling thing to do because if he's not going to be there and she's going to be all alone, what exactly is the point of having Yara go back to Louisiana to wait in the apartment alone for Jovi to come back from work? So Yara definitely wants to stay in Europe with her friend Karina and her mom, and she wants to start having a life there, even splitting her time between Europe and the United States. And I think Jovi is against that, and a lot of people feel like he's against it simply because he can't control what she's doing when she's in Europe. Now, if he's working 6 months out of the year in another country, what makes it different for Yara to be living 6 months out of the year in a different country? Shouldn't a marriage be equal? And on top of all of that, Jovi felt that the best way to fix this situation is to have another baby. He said that he doesn't want to be an old dad and he wants to make sure that they don't wait too long to have another child. Now, Yara, completely blindsided by this, said, well, why would we have another baby? Because one, you wouldn't help raise it. And two, having two tiny babies would be too much work for me and I wouldn't have any time to do anything else. Now, a lot of people on Twitter feel like Jovi wants to tie her down with two babies because it would be much, much harder for her to travel between countries and split her time between countries with two small babies. And it's simply just a way that she is stuck in America and not able to travel and do the things that she wants to do. Now, Jovi did say that they did discuss having more children, but Yara feels like that's something that she would need to do farther in the future, or minimally 4 years in the future. Now, I definitely agree that having a baby needs to be a mutual decision. But I do feel like with Jovi being gone so much, and a lot of times when he is home, he's usually drunk starting in the morning. How much help could he really be with raising a new baby? Because I really feel like when you're a father, you need to be there more than 6 months out of the year. And Yara is definitely doing a lot on her own. She doesn't have a live in nanny like she wants. She doesn't have anyone that wants to come over and be that person to just be that support system for her, other than her mom, who would do that, but that would require her to split her time between two countries. And Jovi is just not for it. So, what is going to happen between these two? Because they definitely can't come to an agreement. They can't see eye to eye on whether or not Yara should be allowed to even stay in Europe without Jovi, because he needs to be there to supervise her even when she's with her own mother and friend. So a lot of people feel like this relationship is just not healthy. It's not the 1950s. You don't need to keep an eye on your wife. You don't need to tell her where she can and can't go. And Yara feels like as an adult, it's her decision whether or not she wants to go, stay, see family, see friends, and do those things. And Jovi feels like if he's not physically present to watch her, she shouldn't be able to go. So this is what I want to ask you guys. In marriages and relationships, is it okay for your husband or wife to tell you where you can and can't go without them being present? So travel is one thing, but international travel, I think, is what we really want to talk about here. Is it okay for your wife to take your child overseas to see family or friends without you? Now, keep in mind, adults are able to travel anywhere they want willingly on their own accord. But in a relationship, do you have that power to tell the person where they can and can't go without you being present or your approval? Or is a marriage simply a team and a partnership and you make the decision together? All right, guys, I'm George Mossey. Make sure to follow me on all social media platforms at George Mossey and at georgemossey.com for all your 90 Day Fiance news, updates, and interviews.